I'm sorry, please, what role?
I said we remember Alhaja KUDIRAT Abiola as a woman who stood firm for democratic principles, and also she was the mastermind of the oil workers strike at that point, a strike targeted at the military government at that point, and the fact that she stood firm for what your father believed in, and of course was killed in the process. Now the question is, you were 9 when she died, so what more can you tell us about your mother with a short period of time you're privileged to spend with her? I think, can you hear me?
When this whole situation was happening,
okay,
you know,
the network isn't friendly at all.
but that was the question. I really wanted to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I like the fact, he talked about the family having some sort of closure when the president decided to recognize that 1993 mandate. Again, it may have taken, so many years to be able to recognize that, but the fact that there was an investiture in that regard, in terms of that mandate being reclaimed, so it shows that, the Abiola family probably have a bit of solace. It's not going to return their loved ones quite all right, but probably just sets us on the path of healing as a nation.
Okay, Abdul Mumin, can you hear us, please?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, please, can you go? Did you get my question correctly, or I have to repeat it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah, please go on if you can hear me. Hello?
Okay, I would have actually loved, to hear him also speak about what the probably he or his siblings are doing in trying to, carry forward the push for democratic principles.
Okay, fine. Well, like I said, first of all, let me just give you some context to the whole matter.
Okay.
After my mom was killed, I had to leave the country. Me and my younger brother, we had to leave the country.
Okay.
So we left the country, and I met up with my sister Hafsa, my older brothers, and my sisters, and we were all together. We were 7 of us, and from then on, we had the conviction that, look, their death will not be in vain. So our role was always to ensure that the legacy and what they stood for was always remembered. So in our own separate ways, like my brother. My older brother, he decided that he was going to focus mostly on religion. So he became like this avid Muslim, and he just kept on praying for people,
calling for peace.
Because my mom was just like that. My sister Hafsa, she had already hit the ground running even before Mom had died. She was already campaigning for my father's release. She was on CNN. She'd been talking about these issues, and I was just a baby by the time. So I was looking up to them. So for me, when I started my journey, when I came back to Nigeria, every June 12th, I made sure I was accessible. If anybody needed anything from the Abiola family or for any purpose that has to do with my father or my mother, I was there. I would give them my time. And even if I had any little funds, I would support in any way I could.
Okay.
So we kept on that June 4th to June 12th, June 4th to June 12th, and kept on the struggle. And alhamdulillah, in 2018, we got the investiture. That just gave us more motivation. And if you notice, if you see now, this is when like the election periods, my sister, she's working on trying to get a youth candidate into power, somebody who she feels would, give Nigerians the benefit of my father's vision, which is farewell to poverty and, and help with security. And my older brother too, we're all doing things that we think would make our family proud. And I think that's what every child would want to do for their parents. But like I said, this is not about Abiola and what we are doing. This is about Nigeria and where we are and what we need to know about what we need to know for 2023. And that is, we have the power. We are the ones. Now we are talking about delegates who are going to pick out candidates.
Yes.
If we see that these candidates are not, going to proffer a better Nigeria for the teeming Nigerians out there, not the ones that are inside the AC. I'm talking about the ones that mosquito is biting every day and they can't buy malaria medicine. Those are the people I'm talking to. When they stand up and decide that enough is enough, then we will probably have a representative government. I am totally adamant on the fact that, yes, our democracy is not perfect, but in anticipation, we will make it perfect. besides that, everything else, we leave to Allah. We will continue to seek for justice for her death,
Okay.
and I
Okay. Yeah.
Abdul, are you there? Okay. Again, I like what he has said, talking about the various ways he and his siblings are trying to push on with the legacy of the family, especially his father and mother, and talking about standing for democratic principles, just calling or advocating that the nation be better. Again, I would like to also hear his take on what they are doing to not push that forward, especially from the angle of his mom. There was a documentary years back, The Supreme Price, precisely, which his sister. Okay, Abdul, can you hear me? Are you there?
I don't know if I really understood your question. Please, could you ask
yes,
me that question again?
I'll rephrase. But you answered the previous one correctly. Thank you so much. So my question to you is this: I know beyond the various instances of advocating for a better Nigeria or a stronger democratic institutions within the country, your sister Ofsa had a documentary about your mom some time ago. I think about 4 years back, The Supreme Price, which had to do with your mother's heroics and basically efforts in ensuring that your father's stolen mandate is reclaimed and then we have democracy in place. So my question to you is this: beyond the various advocacies for stronger institutions or better Nigeria that you and your siblings are pushing right now, is there anything else we can look forward to that you guys are coming up with, either another documentary or a series, whatever it is, just to advance your mom's legacy?
I agree. Now, I created a foundation right after the investiture,
okay,
called the MK ABIOLA Youth and Sports Foundation.
Oh.
Youth and Sports Development in Africa Foundation. And now this foundation, basically what it's meant to do is to basically inform Nigerians of basically what they need to know. I am not here to tell you what to do, because I am not anybody's ruler. I'm not here to rule. What we are here to do is to help each other, protect each other, and lead each other aright. So what I'm doing and what I intend to do, because I can only speak for myself, but I can assure you that the same way and the same vigor that I have, all my siblings have the same vigor as well. But what I intend to do is to bombard Nigerian people with enough information. They need to know that it has been 30 years. 30 years. If you could not change anything in 30 years, my brother, lost soon. You cannot. There's nothing you want to offer at this point, as far as I'm concerned. So what I would do is inform Nigerian people of the situation we find ourselves in. The same old names are cropped up to come and solve a problem that they could have solved, because as far as I'm concerned, once you have leadership, you don't need a leadership position to make a difference. My father made...
I think you want to say his father made a difference.
Apparently, without assuming elective office. And again, it's about influencing your small circles, your small space.
As much as you can.
And I know quite well. Are you there? Please shoot.
Please go on if you can hear us.
Okay, the network is messing up. I know quite well, the ruling party had a mantra of change starts with you. It's all about the individual trying to inspire change, starting from your circle, be it, your workplace, your religious gatherings, social space, and then from there, there's a ripple effect. So I like, that statement that you do not have to assume power before, you make a difference.
Make a change
without making it. You don't have to assume, an elective office without before making a difference.
Okay, Abdul, can you hear us? Please go on if you can hear us.
I can hear you. Please
go on. Okay, now permit me to butt this in. Now, Alhaja KUDIRAT ABIOLA was known. She was a woman, of course, dogged and really, really strong woman who stood for what her husband believed in. Now, what would you say is the low rate of women's participation in politics as opposed to who Alhaja KUDIRAT ABIOLA was?
You see, first of all, people
Abdul,
say that.
Yeah.
I'm here, madam. I'm here.
Right, please go on.
People say that women are the ones, and women are the ones that are voting. They're the ones that decide. So when people are saying that, there's a quota, it's all story. When the women themselves decide to support women candidates, women will emerge. It's very simple. Matter of fact, I think we have had all these men for almost 30 years. and I haven't seen any real improvement. Maybe we should try a woman. I'm totally for it, because at the end of the day, what I'm looking for is, we can't continue doing the same things looking for different results. So maybe we should change the formula, and maybe we should have 35% men and 65% women. Because at the end of the day, the men have shown that they're not capable of leading anything, because the country is worse than 1993, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's becoming a little bit harder for people to survive, for people to make a life living, just to earn a basic living and be dignified in their role. And that's the problem. So for me, women's role in Nigeria cannot be understated. You saw what my mom was able to accomplish with a high school diploma.
Degree, yeah.
High school diploma. She didn't go to university or anything, but she was able to galvanize support, because people at the time understood that, look, things had to change. You can't have just a 1% of the population having AC and then the rest of the population in abject poverty, and then you expect to have a society that is inclusive. It doesn't work. So what we need to do, and I'm actually even appealing to this so-called elite, that have put their knees on the Nigerian people's necks, to just release their hold on the Nigerian people and let us all exist and coexist. It is not hard. It is not hard. At this point, they've already amassed enough money to live 20 lifetimes, which is funny to me, because I don't know how you intend to live 20 lifetimes ahead of your time. My father had all the money in the world. He was the richest man in Africa. He still went to the grave with nothing, completely nothing. So for me, what I'm trying to say is, it is not how long you live, it is the impact you make while you are alive. And that is the funny thing. There's so many people now that are almost 90, they're almost 80, and when they look for something to say that this is what they did, they can't really find anything. Okay. So sometimes people look at longevity of life as a sign of prosperity. It is not. Martin Luther King did not live forever, but look at him. People talk about him every day. Nelson Mandela has been spoken about every day. So what we need to do is understand that what we do while we are in this life is what would make us live beyond our years. And that is it. Alhamdulillah for everything that my mother was able to accomplish, especially because nobody expected a woman at that time to even open her mouth, to even start talking about stuff like this. So even when she did, it was like a shock. But I keep talking about my mom, because I'm trying to send a message to all the young women out there that you don't have to be the wife of a senator, or you can be the senator, the senator gone. No, that professor, senator. No. You are the senator yourself. You can do it. You can be anything you want. Let nobody tell you that, a woman's place is in the other room, or a woman's place is in the kitchen. You can do the kitchen at the same time, do other things. Nobody should be subjugated to be cornered into a position. What we need to do is support ourselves. And like I said, June 12 is coming up. On June 11th, I'm going to have a youth symposium where I'm going to invite some young dynamic leaders to come and discuss Nigeria as we see it, because we are the future. If we don't start discussing the trajectory of our country, where are we going? So we will discuss it on the 11th, and inshallah on the 12th, when our leaders, our fathers come, we can now give them this document and say, this is what we think would work. Okay. This is how Nigeria will progress. That is all we can do. But the bottom line is participation. If you do not participate, if you sell your vote, and then 2 days later, you not say, Ilu ti baje. Well, Ilu ma baje now. The country will face, there's nothing you control. If you decide not to inject your own influence into the process, then you can't complain. Somebody is making soup, and they're not in the kitchen. You don't know what Mobi wants to say, and then when you're eating the food, you say, you're eating. Well, the sauce will be too much because you were not there. Oh, really? We got to say now. So what we need to do is everybody should be in that kitchen. We should be all watching how they're making the soup, so that way we don't have. So that way, if there's any problems, we can stop. That or Betty budget, because Nigeria belongs to 200 and maybe 40 million.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was Abdul Momin Abiola, the son of late Chief MK Abiola, as well as KUDIRAT Abiola, calling for an end to the political apathy, calling for Nigerians, especially youths, to get involved in the process of determining the future of this nation in terms of the direction. And that starts with definitely getting your PVC and having a say in who our rulers will be come 2023.